Just because we can, we will. Now, so I can vape this while we talk about it, this is how you fill a Fogger V6. Alright? I got some Red Bull here. Got a few days ago. While I was down at the shop, we're going to put some Red Bull in the Fogger. If you can get the childproof cap off. And you just shove it in there and squeeze. Mind the puppy. All the way to the top. Yay me, all the way to the top. Got a little rubber grommet on there. Just screw the whole top right down on it. And she should be ready once you unlock it again. I didn't have Red Bull in here before, so it's going to take a minute for the other juice to work out. The Fogger. And I did show this in a looky-loo video, but this is the package for the Fogger V6, and check mark at the very top, which you can't really see. Well, I guess you can a little bit. Is Fogger V6, and you get your bits and O-rings and some Kenthal and a little bit of silica, and you get a keychain screwdriver. Which is kind of nice, because they're about once every 4 months I destroy one of them. And of course you get the Fogger in there also with this handy dandy drip tip, to which now I have 2 of them. Now we have the Fogger here. Let's see if we can dip this just a little bit. Alright, you have your base. Now you can pull. Oh, you really can't see that. Yeah, that sucks, huh? That sucks. Oh well, we'll go with it. You can pull the airflow ring adjustment off, and there's 2 little spring-loaded. I can pull it off. I'll pull it off. Boop. There's 2 little spring-loaded rods in there. Now if you want to drill this out, you can. As you can see by my big, or not see, my big drilled out mark, and I do not have the airflow ring on this one. And it is kind of a pain in the butt. To put it back down on here, you gotta push in the spring-loaded connectors and snap it back in. But it's nice, and it clicks. Hear it? But you have the base. And then you have the build deck that I destroyed. Yes, the build deck comes right off. Notice there's no negative posts on there, and I pulled the positive post out. I'm actually using the positive post in my old Helios because it fit. And the insulator that melted in here actually works for that, because it's big enough too in that, and not so much in this. But onward and upward. The base just unscrews from the airflow adjustment. Kind of nice. Of course you would have your center pin in there, right? You'd have your center pin in there. And then, hey, I even put that on upside right. And then if I can thread this on, it does have fine threads. Right? What gets me on this is that the airflow base actually disassembles, which is kind of nice. And then, let's see here. We need this ring. This upside right. Oh, that's upside down. kind of nice because there's a lot of pieces that say fogger on it, and most of these bits are for the new one. He doesn't want to screw in. Whatever. We're just doing this for a looky-loo. And this is how the fogger goes together. Just maybe something like that. I don't have the drip tip over here, but just like that. And you have an assembled fogger. I never knew that that base came apart. Airflow base. That's kind of nice. So if you want to drill out stuff, like you can see I mushed up the bottom of that one because I didn't know it came apart. But want to drill it out, you just unscrew the base from there and drill it out a bit. Got all that open space in there. It's hard to see. I know, it's black. Got it in black. It's hard to see on video. All that open space in there. For all that open space right there. Alright? That's just a look at the fogger there. But as you can see, here's one of my negative posts right there. And they just came desoldered, de-welded, whatever you want to say. I don't know. They're not really, like, maybe they're pressed in, but they're pressed into some really small dimples. Let's see here. Unscrew this again. Whee! Drop it. Drop it. Make yourself a twisted vid. It's all good. He don't care. He don't care. I don't care. It's all good. Take that ring off. Just strip this puppy down in seconds. Now I threw everything right back in the box, so I can't get my fat fingers in there to pull one of these little negatives out. But you can see now the dark holes there, those are your airflows. Alright, and these ones right here are where the negatives hold in place. And now they ain't pressed in, so they must be like tacked in, kind of like how you add resistance and non-resistance to wire together, and just put the two electrodes on there and line them up and go zap, and there they are, a nice little tiny weld that didn't hold very well to the amount of heat I was putting in this. I put a 0.2 build in it, and as I was rocking it and pulsing it and trying to get the coils right, it started jumping around everywhere and said, "What are you doing, fool?" And I looked at it and the insulator was melted, and I unscrewed the coil and bling, there went the negative post, and the positive post was free flowing at that point. And whatever, order a new one. We won't do that again. Completely my fault. Now if you hear the computer going, it wants to restart, so we're going to let it restart. But this is working just fine. And what do I have in it? What build do I have in it? I have dual coil 28 gauge macro coils, I guess you want to call them. Everybody wants to call them something. That's, I guess, what you're going to call them. What ohms is it at? Let me turn my box down, because what I was rocking in here, I was rocking at 100 watts. And that's not going to be any good for the fogger. So what we got here is a 0.7, according to the SIG. I could grab the other one. So we should be able to pop this up to about 20 watts. 20 watts. And it's a highly decent vape. I do 6 reps of 28 gauge around a 3mm screwdriver, basically. It's just a hair under a 3mm, really. And I have them down close to the deck, and very little wicking material. I have a 70-30 mix in here. No, not a 70-30. I just put Red Bull in here. What is the Red Bull? 60-40, I think. It's a little runnier than I like to use, but the 70-30 runs through it just fine. 50-50 is a little bit runny for it. With the amount of wicking I have, it may slowly seep out just because it's a little runny, but I built it for the thicker fluids, not totally VG, but close to it. 80% is what I was shooting for. And it works really well. And with that drilled out airflow and no airflow ring on here whatsoever, I am at its full potential for the holes that are inside the deck. So this is as least restrictive as it can be without drilling the airflow holes out in the base itself. You see those? No, we don't. There we are. So that's its only restriction. I did not do anything with those airflow holes at all. I could drill that out farther, but there's really no need. This is just right. It's just slightly restrictive. It's not free flowing, but you need a little bit of restriction there in a tank to get it to pull the juice in a little. And it lives up to its name. So there you go. A little looky-loo at the new flogger to replace the old flogger. It is what it is. You all have fun now, because I know I will.